like it?
Well, hello, welcome back. Great show, right?
Yeah.
What a joy. The film was such a joy, and I had read the book, and I think I was surprised every step along the way here, even though I knew it was coming. So, thank you for that.
Can I just say something that maybe people are not aware of, and you may not be, I'm not sure. In the film, out of 22 speaking parts, there are only 4 professional actors. Balázs and Laszlo, Ivan and Giovanna walked the Camino in 2013 with Bill, and they came back in 2023 to play themselves. And then besides the 4 actors, every other speaking part was a pilgrim.
Rosa couldn't join us. She had just gave birth to a baby, and much as she wanted to, she simply couldn't. So we had an actress play Rosa's part. But there are only 4 professional actors. Obviously, Chris playing myself.
What?
Jennifer did a really good job playing herself.
Thank you. And Christina.
Okay, great. And you showing up at the end, even though I knew that you were at the end, that kind of took me. First, I thought you were metaphor, and that you weren't there. It was all part of Bill's mind somehow as he finally got there. That was really great.
I like to think that's where I sit.
I like to think my life is a metaphor.
Smiling. Like that. That's great. What else? The clone, from the very beginning when the server was taking your photographs, the little group sitting around the table. And
She's a chiropractor from Irun.
she's a chiropractor.
Yes. Yes, she was actually at the table as a pilgrim when Bill did that. So she knew exactly what she was doing and how embarrassing it was.
Okay, cool, thank you. I would, of course, not have picked that up. But that whole idea of the headroom, you were going on about be careful of the headroom, don't take too much headroom in there. And I remember reading it in the book, and I remember thinking, oh, I better watch my photographs when I take pictures out of my phone that I don't show up too much headroom. But that carried over for me watching the film, and I was paying attention to headroom in the film, and so I noticed in the close-ups, the headshots, there was like 0 headroom. And
Even the snail had 0 headroom.
Yes, but then Bill meets Daniel, the Korean boy, just before his entry into Santiago. And Daniel says, let's get a selfie together and watch the headroom. And by that point, Bill, the arrogant photographer from the first scene, says, gently, never mind the headroom. Never mind the headroom. And that's the big change that happened to my friend Bill Bennett.
This lady's telling me you're a determined man. He's a very stubborn man too.
right. That's the way to be, that's the way you keep going. Good. A lot of determined people on the Camino.
How many people here voted walk the Camino? Oh my goodness, you're in the forest. Fantastic.
People read my book. It should be more. Questions?
What made you write the book about the Camino?
So the question is, what made me write the book? What happened was that I got to Santiago. As in the movie, I still was very confused as to why I'd done the walk and why I had put myself through so much pain. I came back and I wrote the book to try and find answers to those questions that I still have. So really, the writing of the book for me was my attempt to complete my walk. That's why I wrote it.
Did you accomplish it?
I'm sorry?
Did you accomplish your...
Did I accomplish it? That's a really, really good question. I think when I finished the book, I certainly had a deeper understanding of why I had done the walk. Writing the book allowed me to reassess my Camino in quite great detail. During the walk, I had written a blog every day, and I'd taken between 200 and 300 photographs every day. And so, in the writing of the book, I referenced the blog, I referenced the photographs. And it allowed me to sort of forensically go through my feelings. I wanted the book to be a memoir on the inner journey, not the exterior journey. All the Camino books that I've read prior to my departing had all been about the geography. I was more interested in the inner geography, if you like.
Thank you, Charlie.
You can do it. You can do it. Look.
I was wondering if you know whatever became of the young woman who thought she was responsible for the man's death.
So what happened to Christina? Christina is not her name. She's a very private person, but the last communication that we had was that she was okay.
Thank you.
I think I can project. I was watching the movie just because I was sort of remembering all the things that my friends who have done the Camino, I have never done a Camino, had told me. But by the end, I was so proud of Bill. I just saw the changes happening in him. I found myself crying at the end when he saw the spire in the distance. I just love that. And because now I care so much about you, did you ever get a knee replacement?
No, I didn't get my knee replaced, so I never will.
I had a question here.
For the record, walking on 2 knee replacements. But the question was, thank you for actually using Camino locations. Unlike The Way, the Martin Sheen movie. How on God's earth did you ever get the locations clear enough to shoot?
Okay, this is a bit of a complicated question, and if you've got a large film crew, the way they had to do it, it was impossible for them to get right there. All our planning was based on the fact that we would get right there. Therefore, our crew size, who we took with us, we took only people who understood that they're on sacred ground and we were not to interfere with any pilgrims on their pilgrimage. And I was very concerned. We shot in 2023 May, and it was one of the busiest periods ever on the Camino. So there were pilgrims everywhere. But what I didn't anticipate, and I guess I should have, was what Bill was going to do. And now you can tell them what you did.
Well, basically, the question has to do with the number of people on the trail, yeah?
Yes.
I wanted to shoot in like really good light. because anyone who's walked the Camino, as most of you have, know that part of the magic of the Camino is those beautiful sunrises. You get up oftentimes in the dark, and you walk as the sun comes up and the mist and so forth. I wanted to capture that. It's more difficult in the morning because that light only lasts a very short time. In the evening, the light lasts quite some time. It lasts about an hour and a half, so it's better for us to shoot in the evening. In the evening, we were shooting at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, sometimes later, because at that time of the year there's a long dusk. There are no pilgrims on the track. They've all got into their albergues, they've done their washing, they're bedding down for the night. So there was, the trails were simply empty for that reason.
Did you ever walk a second Camino?
I've since walked 4 more Caminos, 2 Portuguese Caminos, for Via di Francesco and part of the Jacob Say.
And Johnnie, how many have you walked?
I can't remember.
Let me tell you, 57.
Let's walk
Is that right?
57.
57 or 58?
By the summer, it'll be 58.
And how many guidebooks have you written?
19 books.
And how many followers do you have on Facebook?
No, the group that I run with a few others, the Camino de Santiago All Routes group, now has, as of this evening, 463,000 members.
Wow.
The Camino is still growing exponentially, and remember, this was a reenactment of Bill's Camino in 2013, but numbers were less. Last year, 499,000 Compostelas were issued in Santiago, and that means that maybe 6, 7, 8, 10 times that number of people are on the Camino at any one time. People, Spanish people particularly, walking for a week and then going home and coming back the next week, and the Italians do the same. The thing that I was always interested in when I was working in the Pilgrim's office, volunteering, I did the statistics, was the growth rate. And the growth rate was always 9, 10 or 11%. Now, we've just come to the end of the second month of this year, and the growth rate is already 20% in 2025. So I think this is a result of the state of the world. COVID, people weren't allowed to travel. But I think there's also a great thirst going on for spiritual renewal, for an experience where people treat each other. People of other countries, nations come together and we treat each other with respect, and we share with each other, and we share honestly, and we share generously. And I think that Bill has depicted that very well in this movie.
I was just going to say that. I just want to thank you because I think it so encompasses both the spirit of the Camino, but the beauty of the Camino. Like the cinematography in there, just you feel like you're there. And just thank you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
First off, I'd just like to say beautifully done.
Sorry, can you speak up?
First off, I'd like to say congratulations on the opening of your film. It's beautifully done. I haven't seen a beautifully filmed film like this in a while. So I guess my question is, I just want to know, like, what do you have planned ahead for your next film? And any ideas so far?
First off, you've got a camera there on a tripod. You haven't recorded the whole movie, have you?
No, just a Q&A.
Yeah. Are you Troy's son?
Forgive me?
Are you Troy's son?
No, I'm actually an actor myself, but it's really nice to know that there are folks that have never acted that are making a huge success out of their first film like
We're
this.
planning a sequel called The Way, Her Way. Because John will tell you, statistically more women than men walk the Camino. And yet, when you think about it, I can't think of one film. I mean, look, this is only the second English language movie made on the Camino. The first, of course, being a Martin Sheen film. And there's this one. All the other films you've seen on the Camino are documentaries. And even when you consider all of those documentaries, I can't think of one that has been female-centric. And so Jennifer has co-written the script with me, she'll be co-directing, and it's going to be a female perspective on the Camino, which I think is long overdue.
Okay. Thank you.
You can clap
Can't wait
for
to see it.
I know there's a lot of men not clapping, but that's okay.
Thank you for this movie. I too thought it was visually stunning. And having done the Camino, it was nice to see.
So would you mind standing up and shouting out?
Like this. It was visually stunning, and I love the aerial views
Yeah.
that were shot in certain places. How difficult was it for you to produce a movie like this and to market it so that it's being shown in cinemas starting March 7th?
So the question is, how difficult was it to produce a film and to get it distributed? Okay, I'm going to pass that one to Jennifer.
You're going to send it over to me, I could send it over to John. It's extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult.
That's why there's only been 2 films made.
But it's just producing it on the Camino, that was the easy bit. Distributing it, we could not get an American distributor because we were told no one was interested in the Camino in the US.
Yeah, we've had nearly 30 screenings now already across America, and pretty much every one of them has been sold out. It's been extraordinary.
And we've been begging for cinemas. And it's been a frustration for a lot of people because we thought, and our partner here thought that it would be easier to get cinemas. So people in lots of places are waiting for a cinema to be announced for an event like this. And we were hoping for more cinemas March 7th, but we're not getting them at the moment. Now, John's turn.
Well, this is where I think we all come in. We pilgrims, members of chapters, pilgrims, members of pilgrim groups. As I said at the beginning, I have no financial interest in this, but I recognise this movie as a huge gift to the Camino. You know, all of us, we bore our families by talking about the Camino all the time. Here we've got a movie that explores and illustrates the Camino in all its power, in all its beauty, and in all its force. So this film will be going into cinemas, and where it's not, no, we'll be sending out information. I'm going to ask you each directly to email your local cinema and say, will you please put this film on so that I can bring my family and my friends and people who are interested in the Camino, and let's make a success of this. These people, Bill and Jennifer, have poured their heart and their soul and their creative abilities and their own resources into making this. And the least we can do as a pilgrim community is help them make a success of it. So go forth and send emails.
Hi, can I ask if, for any of you, did something transform or change interiorly before and after the Camino? And would you go back?
Well, I think John lives on the Camino, so he's probably the one to talk about transformation.
Well, I mean, it changed my life completely. You know, I was a ruthless chief executive. If your company was doing badly, I was the guy they employed to make people redundant, to balance the books, to forge a business plan for the way ahead. And, you know, I had lunch a couple of years ago with the girl who was the woman who was my chief operating officer. She said, John, you're no longer angry. And I think that's been the big change, of course. And in this movie, Bill said to me, I'm not going to script you in any way. When you get up the hill in Febrero, I want you to sit down with Bill. And they didn't expect me to produce a hip flask, but I actually had whiskey in it. So I didn't expect that. And Bill said, just talk to him as you would another pilgrim. And And I hadn't in any way expected to share my history of childhood sexual abuse. This was a huge secret in my life. Nobody knew about it. My wife knew about it. My therapist certainly did. And my God, the entire world has heard about it. So there are no more secrets. And that's a huge change for me. And of course, we need to ask the question. Bill said, Jennifer said at the beginning, will I stop having to apologise for you at the end of this? Well, have you stopped apologising for the arrogant photographer?
Absolutely.
Look, I wasn't that bad.
You have 3 traumatized children that start shaking when you get your camera out. Come on. No.
I was really a nice guy. The fact is that when you make movies as a film director, you have to be firm.
I'll stop it. The Bill before and the Bill after the Camino are 2 different people. I have no explanation for it. I'm thankful for it. That's all I can say. So yes, transformation happens. Even when people don't expect it to happen, they just go for a party.
Right
Will you
back
have,
in-
will you be able to get it dubbed into Spanish?
Will it be translated into Spanish? Yeah, we're seeking a Spanish distributor at the moment.
I know that you had a lot more questions than answers before you decided to take this journey, which I love. Did you ever contemplate going with someone, or did you know somewhere deep down inside that this had to be a solo journey?
He tried to get me to go right up until the last, which you saw in the film. He was terrified that people would talk to him. Absolutely. He spent 18 months saying, really, I don't want to talk to anybody. And so I said to him one day, because I was really cross with him for banging on about it over and over, I'll make you a sign. And he said, yes. I said, it will say, don't talk to me. And he said, how much will it weigh? And here you have 4 people, 5 people who have come on this journey to tell the world about what they've been through because they and he were so closely bonded during that walk. People, that changed him. The ability to communicate with people outside of work, outside of the film industry.
Curious if you playing yourself.
Did you think of playing yourself?
Yeah, I had Hugh Jackman wanting to play me, but I told him he wasn't nice. No, I never contemplated that. I'm not an actor. Chris is an actor that I've worked with over a long period of time. I know him well, he knows me well. I think he did a beautiful job. I could not have done what he did.
I'm preparing to go on the Camino now in June. I really like the beginning of the movie and how it kind of takes over and you're like thinking about it and preparing for it and that's where I am in my stage, and so it was just really nice to see like how you prepared for it and how it's like in your mind, and so it was really nice to see that in the beginning of the movie to take you through on like how much you can prepare for it.
Well, if you're interested in walking the Camino, John's Facebook group, Santiago Umris, is really worth joining because it's got a lot of terrific information on it. Yes, sir.
Just on that point, I thought it was interesting how you portrayed, you were completely anal about weight and preparing and okay, 10%. And then one of the others that walked, it was a snap decision and he went and you all got to Santiago and you all got what you needed out of the walk. So you don't people go crazy about it, but you don't, and you go and you find what you need when you're out there.
Yes. Very sensible man you are.
One more question. And by the way, I'm still very how you say, empirical in my thinking. It's just that I've learned to let go. One last question.
Can you explain to me the blue scarf? I got from this movie that it was a motivating factor for you to speed up.
The town, yeah.
Right? And I haven't read the book, and I will, I'm just seeing the movie. Was there a sense of this character, because I think the postscript, he passed away, this librarian? No?
No, that's John Briley who left us.
And who was John? That wasn't the...
No, John writes the guidebooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. I just thought I thought maybe it was because he had passed away.
No.
You knew something was wrong.
No.
John was a very good friend of this gentleman here, and Jennifer and I had lunch with John only a few weeks before he passed. Yeah. Anyone who's walked the Camino knows just how influential was it Brady or Briley? John Briley's books have been to the opening up of the Camino, but also to examining, I think, the spiritual aspect of the Camino as well. But thank you all for coming. It's extraordinary, John's going to have last word, it's extraordinary to be here in Times Square presenting this film. When Jennifer and I first started out, we didn't even have enough money to finish this film when we started shooting. I mean, we took a huge risk. We took on the function of what's called completion guarantors, where basically underwrote the financial completion of the film. In our wildest dreams, we never thought that we would be addressing